You're right on time for Hope TV Newswatch on the 7th day of February 2023. My name is Kennedy Kimani, and on the sign language interpretation tonight is our very own Boniface Murithi. Now, President William Ruto and his deputy Rigathi Gachagua have on Tuesday held a consultative meeting with a section of ODM members of parliament at State House, Nairobi. According to a statement from State House, the meeting with the MPs was a follow-up on the president's visit to the Nyanza region last month. ODM party has, however, stated that it did not grant permission to its lawmakers to visit the head of state, terming their action as betrayal. Moving on, the tribunal formed to investigate the conduct of the suspended High Court Judge Said Juma Chitembwe has found him guilty of gross misconduct. While presenting the findings of the tribunal to President William Ruto, the chair of the tribunal, Justice Mombi Ngugi, said the tribunal unanimously found Judge Chitembwe breached the constitution while discharging his duties. President William Ruto thanked the tribunal for expediting its work, noting that leadership comes with the responsibility and accountability, adding that he will act on the recommendations of the tribunal. Former President Uhuru Kenyatta suspended Justice Chitembwe last year and formed a tribunal to investigate his alleged misconduct.
If any arm of government, including the hallowed judiciary, go beyond the law, go beyond the constitution, there is a mechanism for necessary corrective measures that can be done. It is therefore absolutely not necessary to lynch any public officer in the court of public opinion or in any other place. If we have issues with anybody in whatever office, we just need to follow the law, we just need to stick to the constitution, and we can sort out whatever issues that we have with whatever public officer that we believe is not acting in accordance with the mandate or the constitution or the law, for that matter. So again, this is yet another step as a country that we are building on the firm foundation of the rule of law, sticking to the dictates of what our constitution and the law provides in dealing with whatever issues that arise in our society.
His conduct further undermined the constitutional principles of fair hearing, equality before the law, the right to equal protection and benefit of the law without bias or prejudice guaranteed under Article 51 of the Constitution and ring-fenced under Article 25C thereof. The tribunal finds that the contravention of Articles 10, 75, and 232 of the Constitution and Regulations 9, 19, 20, and 21 of the Code of Conduct and Ethics by the judge amounted to gross misconduct or misbehavior. Your Excellency, having made those findings, with regard to the 6 allegations against the judge, and having considered all the evidence and following the tribunal's findings that allegations 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 have been proved, we unanimously find that the judge's conduct was in breach of the Judicial Service Code of Conduct and Ethics, Regulations 2020, amounted to gross misconduct, contrary to 168(1)(e), 168(1)(b) and (e) of the Constitution, and in accordance with Article 168(7)(b) of the Constitution, we therefore recommend to Your Excellency that the Honorable Mr. Justice Said Juma Chitembwe be removed from the office of Judge of the High Court.
Away from that, and the Matatu Owners Association has faulted Interior CS Professor Kithure Kindiki for hurriedly introducing what they term as harsh regulations in the transport sector without involving key stakeholders. According to the association, the government should work with stakeholders to find diplomatic solutions to the nation's problems instead of attacking the players. And as our very own Dolly Murigi movie now tells us, the association is ready to partner with the government to ensure there is sanity on the roads.
The Matatu Owners Association MOA has deferred with Interior Cabinet Secretary's perspective on the government's recent road safety initiative. According to the association, there is need to collaborate with stakeholders to explore and establish conclusions that will benefit the public.
We as MOA encourage collaboration with important stakeholders to explore and establish public benefiting conclusions. And this should be considered before issuing any public transport directive. As an organization, we are adamant that the government consult with all essential stakeholders to ensure the success of road safety campaign.
In December last year, Interior Cabinet Secretary Professor Kithure Kindiki launched a road safety initiative aimed at averting road accidents, asking the police to fully enforce it. The directives on drunk driving, unlawful lights on motor vehicles, contravention of licensed public service vehicles routes, and delayed removal of stalled vehicles. However, the association has poked holes into the orders, saying some are likely to create more avenues for the police officers to solicit bribes from the motorist.
It is worth noting that each directive, and we all know, encourages law enforcers to solicit bribes. To take preventive measures against bribery and corruption, we need to ensure that the public officials are held accountable for their action and that there is a transparent system for monitoring and enforcing anti-corruption laws. It is necessary to take time and consult before issuing directives that allow for bribery.
The association, however, noted that it's ready to partner with the government to ensure there is sanity on the roads. On the PSV licenses, MOA said it was regrettable that despite a directive from the judiciary asking the National Transport and Safety Authority (NTSA) to drop the requirement of a certificate of conduct, it was yet to be implemented.
Before issuing any harsh direction, we recommend that the government analyze areas where they have failed, address them with the stakeholders, and then take action once they've also adhered to what is demanded of them. We propose that the government integrates youth through institutions which are well established, such as TVET and National Youth Service, where they may apply their creativity and taught to channel it in a positive manner.
Dole Marigimbovi for Hope TV, Nairobi.
Thank you so much, Dolly, for that report. Moving on, the Kenya Film and Classification Board, in partnership with the Ministry of Youth Affairs and Arts, Google and TikTok, has launched the Parents Digital Literacy Program, dubbed PADIL. The program seeks to enhance the capacity of parents and caregivers in guiding children on safe and responsible consumption of audiovisual content on digital platforms. The launch comes as Kenya marks the Global Safer Internet Day, with this year's edition themed Together for a Better Internet. Our very own Tiffany Wambui with more on the story.
With the rapid growth of the global internet usage and easier access to content on the World Wide Web, a need has arisen to ensure safety of online content consumption and prevention of harmful internet practices. In line with this, the Kenya Film and Classification Board has unveiled the Parents Digital Literacy Program, dubbed PADIL, with the aim of creating awareness on the effects of media content and emerging technologies on children.
What is happening?
The program is in collaborations with the Ministry of Youth Affairs and Arts, as well as tech gurus such as Google, TikTok and Netflix, whose membership has seen a swift growth. Speaking during the event, KFCB Chief Executive Officer Christopher Wambua, while lauding the operators of digital platforms for setting up tools that provide control of viewership, noted that there is need to take a further step in protecting children from harmful content.
There are safety tools that are there that parents need to be aware of, so that as they guide their children, they can be able to guide them properly on how to make the best and most out of the internet, instead of having situations where you allow them to see everything. It is the responsibility of the parent.
He further noted that there is an existing gap in the market where children have gained access to the internet faster as compared to their parents.
We were launching the Parents Digital Literacy Program to address a gap that we've noticed in the market, where the children are way ahead in terms of technology and the parents are lagging behind. And the reason why we're launching this program, therefore, is to ensure that we bring on board the partners, the parents, the platform operators, so that together we ensure that the children of Kenya utilize the internet safely and navigate those platforms for their betterment, not to their detriment.
Wambua assured that the aim is not to interfere with data privacy nor infringe data privacy laws, but to educate and inform on the safety mechanism of utilizing the internet.
We may not want to get into the private spaces of parents to see what they are doing with their gadgets. Nobody would want that to happen in this country, because the Constitution is very clear in respect to matters of privacy. But basically, the only thing we can do is to rate the programming and educate where necessary.
At the same time, Principal Secretary for the State Department for Youth Affairs and Arts, Ismail Made, noted that the Kenya Kwanza administration seeks to support the creative industry in a world where the internet is rapidly growing.
Kenya Kwanza government has a plan for this industry, the creative industry, where we encourage the younger generation of this country to grow with internet. We all know the pace at which the internet is growing is very fast. It's moving at a very supersonic speed. And our young ones are growing that fast with the internet.
A representative from Google reiterated the initiative's aim to enhance confidence in parents when their children interact with technology by incorporating safety tools.
Family Link is a Google product. It's designed to help parents and guardians work with young people, children, to manage and incorporate the rules they want on how technology will be used in the home.
According to a UNICEF report titled Disrupting Harm in Kenya, Evidence on Online Child Sexual Exploitation and Abuse, 67% of the youth aged between 12 and 17 years are internet users. 7% of a nationwide sample of children using internet had been offered gifts in form of money in exchange with explicit images or videos of themselves. Moreover, 2/3 of children using the internet have not been taught online safety measures, and 42% of these children reported having access to explicit content on their social media feeds. Tiffany Wamboy, Hope TV, Nairobi.
Thank you, Tiffany, for that report. Moving on, and stakeholders in the education sector have opposed proposals to privatize public universities, claiming that it will widen the gap of inequality in access to education. This comes 2 weeks after Trade CS Moses Kuria said there are plans by the government to privatize the public institutions and that talks with international investors are underway. The stakeholders have now threatened to go on strike if the government goes ahead and adopts the proposal.
If education is left at the hands of investors, investors are interested in making profit. Where will the poor Kenyan family go to? Will they afford university education? Or the government wants to leave education in the hands of the rich only?
There is need for all education stakeholders to be involved in a national dialogue on the best way to regulate private education providers. Revamp public schools to make them more attractive to parents, learners, and workers. Government to build more public schools, especially in urban
And with that, it's time for a quick breather here on Hope TV Newswatch. See you after this short news break.
The Kenyatta University Christian Union Alumni Fellowship, in partnership with Hope Media, invites you to an Alumni Sunday service on 12th of February 2023 at the Kenyatta University Amphitheatre from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. The theme of the service is Rebuilding the Walls, drawn from Nehemiah chapter 2 verse 17, and the minister of the word will be the Bishop of the Christ is the Answer Ministries, Reverend Callisto Odede. This event will be broadcast live on Hope TV from 11 a.m. All are welcome.
Welcome back. Now, a section of Maasai youth have given Narok Senator Ledama Olekina 7 days ultimatum to withdraw from attacking Governor Patrick Ntutu on social media platforms, or else they will mobilize youth in the county to hold a major protest. The youth led by Narok Youth Association Chairman Bosta Kisio say the attacks witnessed in the recent past were derailing development agenda in the county, and as they were putting the residents in a political mode, yet the elections are over. In a recent tweet, Ledama claimed that Governor Ntutu requisitioned 160 million shillings from the control of budget, claiming to owe Kenya Medical Supply Authority KEMSA the whole amount, yet the county only owed 51 million shillings. Ledama Olekina, according to the tweet, claimed the funds were obtained by false pretense, saying Governor Ntutu must face the full force of the law.
Juzi tulihost president hapa Narok County na viongozi wote wa Narok County walikuwa, isipokuwa seneta wetu alikuwa maandamano wakati sisi tulikuwa hapa Narok County, na tulikuwa tunaomba president aweze kutufanyia miradi kadhaa, na sikitisha sana wakati viongozi wetu wanashikana na seneta wetu yeye ako mbioni kwenda maandamano. Na tukiwa sauti ya vijana wa Narok County, tukipenda kumwambia seneta wetu kuwa yale majibizano yake na governor ikome kabisa, wakuje kwa ground tusuluhishe maneno juu social media haiwezi suluhisha shida yetu. Na sisi tukiwa vijana wa Narok County tunasema hiyo maandamano, hakuna wakati maandamano itatupea kazi. Na wakati huu Narok County iko na kiangazi, wakazi wa hapa wanahitaji msaada, na wakati tukiendelea na vita chakula haitapatikana.
We thank, I think, the county governor for allocating, I think this county is a pioneer county to allocate 100 million to ward level. We want funds to be devolved that way. And if we can see the projects that are aligned to that 100 million per ward going to the ground, and somebody somewhere want to be a stumbling block to make sure that this fund cannot be, or the projects cannot be done, I think we will not take that lightly.
And to matters health, and the Alliance for a Green Revolution in Africa, AGRA, has announced a new partnership to tackle nutrition deficiency by providing biofortified foods to 1.2 million school children in Kenya, Tanzania, Malawi through school feeding programs. Over the next 3 years, the partnership, that is supported by the Rockefeller Foundation, will work with governments in the 3 countries to provide iron-rich beans and vitamin A maize to the school children. The initiative aims to support the governments to progress towards the Sustainable Development Goal on zero hunger, anchored on good nutrition through homegrown school feeding programs.
We'll seek to target about 400,000 school-going kids in Kenya in particular, and we actually hope to work with Calro and a number of seed companies to increase the production of high iron bean seeds in the country, particularly Nyota, Faida, and quite a number of other beans, so that not only school-going kids are able to access these beans, but also the general population. The second benefit of beans, we have had about 6 failed seasons in a lot of the ASAL counties in this country. And by introducing beans to these counties, we actually see that it will be possible to have nitrogen fixation properties. And from the statistics we've seen today, by planting beans, you're actually able to provide about 50 kilograms of nitrogen into the soil, per acre, and that is very good. And that will also ease the cost of production for fertilizer for the various farmers that we're going to be working with.
We know that beans are eaten. I mean, every Kenyan knows they eat beans. And even now, if you go back passing through supermarkets or even homes, you'll find beans being eaten. But we need awareness to know that not all beans are the same. Some of the beans have more value, like the biofortified ones, than the other normal beans. And so creating awareness, rallying all the partners together and having like a good campaign about this good food initiative is really important.
And still matters health, and the Aga Khan University Hospital has launched a first in Africa cancer drug clinical trial to investigate the effectiveness of a new treatment that blocks the activity of a gene mutation responsible for the cause of cancer in affected patients. The study follows the approval of a similar drug to treat lung cancer by the USA's Food and Drug Administration in 2021.
We, as a first site in Africa, as the only site that has a clinical trial, if we have a cancer patient whose tumor has the KRAS G12C mutation, we have a pill that specifically blocks the activity of this cancer-causing gene. We block the gene from becoming activated, we stop the cells from progressing, from growing, from spreading. If this works, it is a good sign that we can treat cancer early based upon what we call precision oncology.
And Kenya has joined the international community in condoling with the people of Turkey and Syria after a deadly earthquake that has left more than 5,000 people dead in the two countries. Foreign Affairs CS Dr. Alfred Mutua has called on Kenyans to extend material support that will alleviate human suffering to the people of Turkey and Syria. The CS has also stated that so far no Kenyan living in both countries has been affected by the earthquakes.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm calling upon Kenyans to join hands in extending material support that will alleviate human suffering, such as foodstuffs, clothing, financial, medical staff, among others. We have received a request from our good ambassador about search and rescue. In this country, we also have our own disasters. We've had search and rescue operations, and we have a very specialized team in our Ministry of Interior and also Defense. And so we'll be looking at how we can be able to send Kenyans to be able to help in the search and rescue. For any updates on what is going on, I'd like to report that no Kenyan has so far been affected by the earthquakes. And we are keeping tabs to know whether any Kenyan has been affected, but so far we've not had any Kenyan affected.
The information you have already provided regarding the Kenyan contribution to my country, this shows the cordiality of the friendly Kenya and your solidarity with Turkey in times of disaster. What happened in Turkey is not only an intense earthquake, but also a very unusual disaster as to its extent.
Meanwhile, the French civil security rescue teams have arrived at a NATO military base in the town of Incirlik in the southern Turkish province of Adana so as to assist the Turkish authorities in the search for survivors following a deadly earthquake that has left more than 5,000 people dead in Turkey and Syria.
Every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. Spotlight.
Do you feel like they are in a place where they can effect a Barack Obama moment?
When you hear the word of God and you hear Jesus is speaking.
Real talk on real issues.
You know, the Bible says faith without works is dead.
The truth of the gospel that will survive the time is not a health and wealth gospel.
When there is time to harmonize and bring one composite amendment.
With idealistic, thought-provoking guests.
So people come to be serviced, to be encouraged, to be empowered.
When the storm is over, you desire the closeness you have with God.
Hosted by Reverend Edward Furi.
The Kenyatta University Christian Union Alumni Fellowship, in partnership with Hope Media, invites you to an Alumni Sunday service on 12th of February 2023 at the Kenyatta University Amphitheatre from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. The theme of the service is Rebuilding the Walls, drawn from Nehemiah chapter 2 verse 17, and the minister of the word will be the Bishop of the Christ is the Answer Ministries, Reverend Callisto Odede. This event will be broadcast live on Hope TV from 11 a.m. All are welcome.
Welcome back. Now let's get down to business. And the Kenya Power and Lighting Company, in collaboration with the government, private investors and players in the e-mobility industry, are deliberating on ways to fast-track uptake of electric motors. This even as it has emerged that inadequate charging ports have contributed to the few electric-powered motor vehicles in the country. The power utility company has invested more than 40 billion shillings in grid expansion and refurbishment to enable it transition the country to the first phase of e-mobility. Currently, only Nairobi County can support e-mobility vehicles with just 1,000 electric vehicles in the country. This presents an opportunity for the private sector to work at actually increasing uptake across the country.
Every year we have a budget of network refurbishment of about $1 billion to refurbish our network. And that one has happened for a number of years. And in the area directly of e-mobility, this financial year, we have set apart 40 billion directly to purchase motorbikes and their charging points. And going forward, as I've said, our vehicle procurement will be split between the two.
NCBA has set aside 2 billion shillings towards e-mobility, specifically electric vehicles. We said this sometime towards the middle of last year. As I mentioned, the uptake has not been as fast as we would have wanted it to be. By the end of last year, we had disbursed about 50 million shillings towards electric vehicles. However, what we did was expand the assets that we could finance.
What we have done in Nairobi is network automation. But having a robust network that can be able to support e-mobility across the country, all the regions and all the major towns are able to support e-mobility. The only thing that which is unique about Nairobi and Mombasa, we have been able to do network automation, whereby we are able to operate the network remotely. And that is a program that will be rolling out to the other regions.
We are cognizant of the need to support e-mobility and to drive the development of adequate infrastructure to support the growth around the subsector.
Moving on, a Nairobi-based Pan-African Housing Development Financial Shelter Afrique is working on an affordable housing partnership deal with Actis, a global private equity investment firm, and India's real estate giant Shapoorji Pallonji. According to Shelter Afrique Managing Director and CEO Diano Habib Han, the partnership with the two entities will be vital in scaling up the provision of affordable housing across the continent.
We see a lot of similarities here between India and Kenya and Africa. Much to our, we see this as 10 to 15 years behind India. A lot of changes which happened in the Indian subcontinent are going to come in the African subcontinent, and maybe faster. Political will is changing. Public-private partnerships is becoming the name of the game. Financing is becoming more amenable. Ability to control and execute financing decisions are becoming strengthened. And above all, everybody is realizing that this is the market to be in. The upside in the market in Africa and Kenya, whether in real estate or infrastructure, etc., is really high because the development has to come in. I think from our learnings of India, we are able to see that in next Africa and Kenya will catch up even faster than India, because the development potential at the scale at which it is going to go, with groups like Shelter Afrique being administered in the right manner by Habib, put across development strategies by other development institutes, I think a lot of capital will draw in and good development schemes can be coming. For us, from an execution standpoint, Actis has been already in Africa for a long time. Actis and Shapoorji in the MiVida platform, which Sam is driving, has, as it is, delivered the first project. The beauty of the project is that even though it's in the same pretense of Garden City, it is getting phenomenal response. And this is driving us to launch 3 more projects in the Indian Nairobi market, much driven without any subsidies and that full private approach.
And to some sporting action now, and Trailblazers volleyball team are confident of improving on their maiden third position in the Kenyan Volleyball Federation League last season. After receiving a great boost, the volleyball team have unveiled their new state-of-the-art kits for the 2022-2023 season and beyond, which are eco-friendly and engineered to allow the players to perform at their utmost optimum levels.
We gather here today to unveil our new kits of the season 2023-2024 and beyond. These are the state-of-art and eco-friendly, engineered to allow all our players to perform at their almost optimum level and showcase style and elegance at the same time. You are also here to interact with the team behind the team and the team behind the team, the coaches, and also the physicians.
Mashabiki tungewasihi sana warudi kwa volleyball. Tunaona men's volleyball in particular ni sport ilikuwa imesahaulika. But kulingana na last season venye the leg we hosted, tuliona stadium ilijaa na tungetaka iendelee kuwa hivyo for the upcoming matches. So mashabiki tafadhalini, kujeni, cheer the team. Sisi tunaleta vitu mpya kwa team kulingana na kitting, the strength and conditioning, the psychological aspect. So it's a holistic approach to the sport. So tungewasihi sana warudi kwa stadium ndo to make volleyball a fun sport again.
Lovely, lovely, lovely.
Moving on, and Anderson Madeka of Muthaiga Golf Club has been crowned the winner of the inaugural Corporate Citizens of Africa Sustainability Golf Tournament at the Lash Par 36 Muthaiga Golf Club. The seasoned golfer beat Gerald Githinji on countback after they both garnered 41 points. Wilson Chelelgo was a distant third, registering 38 points on countback. The event that brought together over 50 golfers from Nairobi and its environs was the first of its kind, as it incorporated sustainability ideals in its game.
For the last few weeks, I've been trying to improve my game, and I think everything is coming okay now. We've been playing with some few friends of mine just to understand how to improve, and I can tell you that yesterday and today the game came into proper form. Today I started very well with consecutive 9 pars and one birdie. I ended up making 1 bogey and finished with another par. So first 9 I ended losing only 1 point with the 21 point score. When I moved to second 9, again the game continued. I played out of 9 holes. I got 6 pars and 3 bogeys to give a total of 20 points. So I had a good company, the of Washira Mahio and the 2 other gentlemen, and we really enjoyed the game.
And finally, LA Lakers superstar LeBron James is on the cusp of breaking one of the NBA's most hallowed records, that is to become NBA's all-time high scorer. LeBron is just 36 points away from the record held by Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who retired in 1989 with 38,387 points. In what is supposed to be the twilight of his career, LeBron James is enjoying one of his highest scoring seasons, averaging 30.1 points per game.
I mean, it's a historical moment. I'm sure the atmosphere will be electric. I think everyone will be on the edge of their seats, and everyone wants the hottest ticket in town to be there and be able to say they witnessed it firsthand. And it's good for the Lakers, good for the NBA. Obviously a hell of an accomplishment by LeBron.
And indeed, LeBron is one of the greatest basketball players of all times. And with that, we come to the tail end of our news tonight. Many thanks to you for your valued company on behalf of the whole team that made this bulletin a success. Have yourselves a good night. My name is Kennedy Kimani, and on the sign language interpretation tonight has been the very able Boniface Muredi.